Alright guys, so today we're starting this update with a completely different kind of bird and a completely different problem. Today is June the 3rd and it is a Saturday. Anyways, I picked this guy up on the way home from work. Let's see how he's doing. I want to be very gentle. See if he's doing any better. This guy was sitting in the middle of the road in shock. He was just sitting there panting real hard. I was able to pick him up and put him in a box, bring him home. Since then he's come around, been doing a little bit better. Was favoring his right leg though. Anyways, but I gave him a little bit of prednisolone, or however you pronounce it. Something I've used before with the pigeons. I gave him a teeny tiny drop of it with permission from a friend who is a licensed wild bird rehabilitator. Anyways, and that was for his leg. He was favoring his right leg. Let's see. Come on, bud. He's pretty placid. He's not too scared of me. See, he's got his right leg sticking out. Having the mirror, that big mirror in here, is probably not ideal. Nope. That's not working out too well for him. Anyways, seems to be doing better though. I'm about to let him go. Come here, bud. Come here. Don't pay any attention to that mirror. Anyways, so he's favoring his right leg, which is on the back of him. And now he's in the sink. Come here. Try not to freak him out too much by grabbing onto him. I kind of let him move around, see how he does. I don't like how fluffed out his feathers are around that leg. I'm also not thrilled about the fact that he's letting me touch him. Since it is a wild bird, I'm a little bit concerned about that, but he seems to be doing much better. He can fly around. Move this box out of the way. Stop flying into the mirror. Move our soap. Anyways, so got to let him go. Unfortunately, he's only got 3 tail feathers left. Probably got sideswiped by a car. But he has made me think about that I haven't explained an awful lot about what to do when the pigeons have trauma. Pigeons run into things too. So the first thing you want to do is if you see the bird impact something and fall to the ground, or with a Birmingham roller, if it just rolls and falls to the ground, the first thing you want to do is approach it slowly. A lot of times when a roller hits the ground, they don't injure themselves or do anything, and as you get closer, they'll fly off. But if they actually run into something and are just laying on the ground, go up to them. If they're not looking too good, eyes kind of closed, they're kind of panting, then you need to proceed with caution. If they are kind of laying down on the ground, and especially if they've got their head tilted back, that's not a good sign, and you need to be real careful. They may have some form of spinal injury. I've had a roller hit its head on our gutter and fall to the ground, and it had injured it. It had probably broken its neck, and when I picked it up, that movement was enough to kill it. So you want to be real careful. This one was not laying down. This little bird was standing up, eyes kind of half open, panting, obviously in shock. It was not doing him any good to be in the middle of the asphalt road when it was like 80 degrees out, so he was overheated and in shock. So I just picked him up, put him in this box. You want to put him in something solid and dark. Avoid wire cages, whether we're talking about finding a wild bird that has hit a window or something, or if we're talking about a pigeon. You want to try and put in something solid and dark, and try not to stress them out. Obviously, I'm not chasing this bird around, not messing with it. I'm about to put it back in the box and then drive back to where I found it and let it go. I felt his leg already and didn't seem to be any breaks. Anyways, so you want to let them recover that way. And the worst thing that can happen to them is brain inflammation. So basically their head swelling up, and that the inflammation around the brain can kill them. One of the best things you can give them to prevent this is called Metacam. Unfortunately, I don't have any. Basically, it's an anti-inflammatory, keeps the swelling down, and it also helps with pain. I'm sure it probably does some other stuff too, but those are the main two things, and the reason that it's so good for head traumas and basically any kind of trauma that the bird experiences. Unfortunately, you have to have it prescribed, so you can't just go buy it and have it on hand. My friend, who's a licensed bird rehabber, she has it on hand because she has injured birds brought into her all the time. However, I'm sure she had to get a prescription for it, but so even she has to get it from the vet. But just us, lay pigeon people, we can't just go buy it at a store or anything. Basically, in order to get some, you have to bring in a bird that needs it. And then at that, a lot of times they'll prescribe more than enough in case you spill some or the bird gives you trouble and you don't get it all in his mouth and have to use more. But it's usually not still a lot. However, they did give me a lot of the prednisolone, whatever it's called. I want to say prednisone. Prednisone is another medicine, so not what I've got. Anyways, so if you have that, it's good to give that to them, but most people are not going to have it, including myself. The medicine that I gave it, it is an anti-inflammatory, and it does help with pain, but it doesn't do as good a job as the Metacam. And what I have is more for speeding up the healing process, which is why I gave it to the bird. Now that I see that it has a problem with the leg, a lot of times there can be nerve damage involved. You all remember my pigeon, or people who have kept up with my channel and have seen my first videos. You all remember I had a pigeon, still have that pigeon, but its name is April. Thought it was a girl then, turns out it's a cock. Anyways, he rolled, it's a Birmingham roller, rolled and hit his head on the roof of our house, knocked himself out. He was unconscious when I got him. I was real careful not to move him too much, didn't want to mess up any kind of spine injury. Thankfully there were no spine injuries, or at least no broken bones or anything, not that I can tell. He did fine, but he couldn't use his legs. He actually lived on my Trester drawers for probably close to a month, and I gave him steroids every day. I want to say he got him the steroid once a day, and the prednisolone, whatever I've got. Anyways, he got that once a day, and then I had to do physical therapy with him 3 times a day. So nerve damage is definitely a big danger. So that's likely the problem with his leg. And I gave him that little bit of the steroid, which should help. But then he's in much better shape than April was. April couldn't use his legs at all. This little bird can use that leg. He's putting a little weight on it. He's using it a little. So I'm not too worried about it. He'll continue to use it himself. And he should be just fine. I can't feel anything broken. To be honest, I don't feel any swelling either. So it's probably nerve damage. And if some the pigeon hits something and it's bleeding, you can use flour or cornstarch or something like that to help stop the bleeding. Birds, they have really thin blood. It doesn't clot very well. So he's not liking that I'm filming him and staring at him. Anyways, if I think of anything else to add to that, I will. But I'm going to get him back in the box and we'll go let him go. Alright, time to let the little bird go. Come here. Let me set the camera down and we can get him out. Alright, here he is. We're back where we found him. No cars. No cars. Alright, you don't have a good history with cars. There you go. You're free. Taking a look around. You're free, little bird. You got a clean bill of health. Go on. There he goes. Don't know that we're gonna see him. There he goes. I don't know. I think y'all got to see him real quick before he completely disappeared. Well, hopefully he'll die of old age instead of being hit by a car. He avoided it once now. Alright, back at the house now. It's, I'm just going to go ahead and do an update on the birds and let y'all see what's going on. And then I will actually show y'all how I'm medicating them and what I've got. Actually, look like it's about time to refill their water in here. Yeah. Anyways, the medicine I have is something I put in the water. I changed out their water with the medicated water yesterday afternoon. Refilled it this morning. This morning when I fed them, there was noticeable improvement in that red check hen already. She came over here to eat and everything. There's still a little bit of food left in there. I'm giving them whatever they can eat. But, yeah, they've still got water, but it's time to refill it. But that works out well, because then I'll be able to show y'all how I mix up the medication in the water. These birds, they're doing... Okay, that bird in the corner is just laying down, but I was like worried that it was dead. It's kind of hot though. I think I'm going to bring the basket of birds inside, let them enjoy some air conditioning, because I don't want them getting too hot. I wouldn't want normal, healthy pigeons getting too hot, and they're probably sick, so I certainly don't want that happening, so I'm going to bring them inside. I left them out here this morning when it was cooler. We had a nice breeze. It's still kind of breezy. Anyways, everything is going better in here. I have noticed some green droppings here and there. I'm sure that they've been exposed to the coccidiosis, especially considering Charles came out of that loft, and then I moved him in here. He probably was carrying it and probably passed it on to these guys. So I'm sure that coccidiosis is in here, and I've already started treating. Of course, these are their two favorite waters. They finish these up pretty quick. Both of those still have some water in them, but not much. This one, see, they don't drink out of the ones down here so much. Just the ones that can't fly, mostly. Anyway, so that one's still fairly full, but I'll dump it out. I need to clean these waters. I especially need to clean these two. I left that one empty. I just didn't bother filling that one up this morning because I knew I wasn't worried about them having enough water to last all day, because I knew I was going to be doing this update and showing y'all how I do the medicine. But and it worked out pretty well. They're not out of water, but they're low, so it's time to refill them. But I'll show y'all how I do that. There's not a lot different going on. She kind of looks like she needs to lay. She spends most of her time up here, so I think if she was, being affected by the coccidiosis, that I would see green droppings in here, and I don't see any. And her weight is a little bit low, but you gotta, you gotta consider that she's a mom who's been raising babies pretty much non-stop for the past few months, so I'm not too concerned about it. I don't think she has it, but again, I'm treating the loft, so I'm nipping it in the bud. But I'm just saying I don't think that that's why she's hunched over in there. I think she looks like she needs to lay. These babies are looking. I'm starting to be able to tell a little bit more about them. I mean, that's going to be looks like an ash red bar, and this one probably looks like it's going to be an ash red check. So these are both cocks. You know, some people believe that it's always a hen and a cock in the nest. That's not always true. Sometimes it's a hen and a cock. Sometimes it's two cocks. Sometimes it's two hens. Personally, I like it when it's two hens because it seems like there's always more cocks in the loft for some reason. But I have looked at studies and experiments done, records that have been kept on breeding, and it does usually come out to about 50-50. A pair usually does produce about the same amount of cocks and hens, but it's not always one cock and one hen in the nest. It could be one cock and one hen, and then it could be a nest with two cocks, and then a nest with two hens, or two nests with hens and a nest with one of each, and then one with just cocks, one of each, one with two cocks, and then at that point it's evened out again to halfway. So it's usually is about 50-50, but it's not always two different genders in the nest. In this case, it's two cocks. This pair and that pair down there both being sexually in breedings, I can tell. I was supposed to ban their babies, this black hen and the mated to this blue bar cock, the cocks on the nest right now. I was supposed to ban their babies today, but they're a little bit small. I'm not sure why. I'm not real thrilled about that. But anyways, I'll just have to wait a little bit longer to ban them. That's all. Thought I saw someone up there. But anyways, and then you remember I said I was a little worried that these guys' eggs had died. Well, they didn't. If you're new to my channel, this is what newborn baby pigeons look like. Yeah, they're not that beautiful. Anyways, so they both hatched, doing fine. I'll ban them in a week. This guy and that guy, they're just about ready to go over to the young bird loft, but they're not going to. Reason being, I'm trying to treat them for the coccidiosis. Here's Willie hanging out with me, and my friend got back to me about the boards. We were supposed to be meeting this. I don't know. He made a weird noise and felt like there's something wet on me. Anyways, we were supposed to meet his grandfather's sawmill to get boards this morning, but I had to work. I knew I was working today, but I thought I was working this evening. Turned out it was this morning, so we weren't able to do that. But I'm going to be meeting him to get those boards either on Saturday or next Saturday, or possibly sooner. But if not sooner, it should be Saturday. So I'm going to go ahead and get 2x4s. And I'm going to go ahead and start building the 2x4 frame for it. Then the OSB will go on the roof, then shingles on top of that. The boards will go on the outside of the body of it. Of course, I'll have a plywood floor, and then hopefully insulation will go in the middle, and then I'll put basically the cheapest OSB I can get on the inside, just as an extra layer to make the walls in there. And then hopefully that should keep it from being so hot like it is in this one. I'm still working out exactly how I want to do it. I will show you all I want to call it a blueprint. I was drawing it this morning. My little brother, he's 5, came, sat down beside me. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm drawing a blueprint." He looks at the notebook and says, "But it's not blue. It's a white print." I couldn't really argue with him. I'm just drawing it in a white notebook. But anyways, I'll show you all what I've got in just a minute. The camera's dying, but I got to go in there and mix up some medication anyways. I'll show that to you. Would you quit messing with my necklace? Thank you. Anyways, so stop it. So there's not too much to report in here. Everyone else is doing fine. But I'll talk about that some more in a minute. I better go change this battery. That's my ear. This guy. Anyways. Alright, so in at our back door, got these birds from Joe in here. They're not looking real great. Some of them are missing feathers around their head and neck area, like that one, but that was probably just done to them by an older pigeon. What I'm more worried about is, look at this bird. So he's got his eye half open, half closed. He's kind of bent over. Look at his tail. I mean, that tail does not, the illness did not cause that. I'm not sure exactly how he managed to do that, but I'm concerned by the fact that it's been that way for about a day. He's not fixed it. He should have preened it back to looking good. There's green poop in there. One of these, I think it's that one. That one looks kind of ruffled up too. I picked him up and flipped him upside down, and he had been pooping green. It stained the feathers around his fin a little bit. So, not looking too promising. Hopefully all the rest of these pull through, but I'm concerned about that one. Anyways, here's what I'm treating them. This is called Corid. This is a coccidostat, and there's a difference between a coccidostat and a coccidicide. A coccidicide is meant to completely kill and eradicate the coccidiosis, which is, from my understanding, is a very small parasite. It's not an actual bacteria or an actual virus. It's a parasite, I think. And basically, what it does is it attaches itself to the cell walls of the intestines or the stomach, some part of the digestive system. There are several different species of coccidiosis. Some of them being not that dangerous, some of them being deadly, but it's not good either way, and they attach themselves in slightly different places. But either way, the effect is about the same, and the treatment is the same, no matter what species it is. But basically, it starts to break down the cell walls inside their digestive system, which causes pain and discomfort. That's why they stop eating, and they start what we call going light, where they start losing weight because they're not eating enough. They lose their appetite. It's what makes their poop green, and usually it's pretty watery, kind of diarrhea. If it gets too bad and breaks down the cell walls enough, it can actually cause them to bleed internally, and that oftentimes is what happens in squabs and kills them. And this is not coming from personal experience. This is coming from stuff I've read off the internet, but for the most part, I think I'm pretty much telling you all the right thing. Either way, it's not good, and a coccidicide would destroy it, but a coccidostat actually slows down their life cycle and weakens the coccidiosis so that the bird's body can actually fight it off. And the advantage here is that after the bird's body fights it off itself, the bird is then immune to that, at least that species of coccidiosis. So I won't have to worry about it happening to them again. Of course, if they carry it, then they can still give it to other pigeons. But the idea is that they fight it off. This helps them fight it off themselves, so that they're immune to it. Anyways, this one, and you may get something different, but you may not get this brand, and I think it can come in a powder too. Anyways, for this, the dosage for this is a teaspoon of the liquid to a gallon of water. So I've got a gallon of water here. I usually pour that in while the water is running in the faucet. Anyways, they've still got enough water in there. They haven't been drinking nearly as much, so I'm going to wait a little longer before I refill it. I'm going to clean this out though. I'm going to clean out all those pine shavings, get them on a clean bed of it. Anyway, since I don't have anything to stir that water with, I'm just going to let it sit for a minute while it diffuses. And then I've also got this probiotic. This one's for poultry, but it'll work for the pigeons too. It's just a source of good bacteria for their gut. the coccidiosis, aside from the other stuff I just mentioned, will kill off all the good beneficial bacteria in their digestive system, and this will just help them to build up good bacteria in their digestive system again very quickly. Will help get them on, help them recover more quickly. I'm not giving them this right now. I'll give them to this after I finish treating them for the coccidiosis, which should take between 5 and 7 days. We'll just see. That pigeon right there is needing to poop. Let's see if he pooped green. Here, move out of the way now. Yeah, it's actually really watery. That's not good. Anyway, so this is a powder, and that it'll also go in their water. The little scoop that you all saw in there is 1 gram. Basically, I'll need one scoop, which is also 1 gram per gallon of water. But I'll give that to them afterwards. That's a good thing to have on hand. Then, before we head outside to give the water to those other birds, I'll show you all this. That's what I'm working on from the loft. So this is in pencil. That was the first one I did. And then I did a larger one over here in pencil, and then inked it with a pen. So this would be looking at it from the front, and I don't have a door drawn on here. These solid lines, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, those are all studs in the wall, 2x4s. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. So in between these two right here, they're 16 inches apart, but I want a 2-foot door. Basically, these two in the middle on the front, I'm just going to slide them over to where there's 2 feet between them, and I'm probably going to have a door that opens in so that I can have a little cage area on the outside with a door that opens out so that I can go in, shut that door behind me, and then open the door to my loft. It's going to be 6 foot deep, 8 foot long, probably going to be 6 foot tall. The area that is at the loft itself, the roof, is going to make it higher. I'm not sure exactly how high off that's going to be. I'm going to use 2 4-foot piece of 2x4 to do that. So I'll get an 8-foot 2x4 cut in half. Do that 6 times plus 7 and 8 to make the outside part. That's 8 8-foot 2x4s cut in half. 1 8-foot 2x4 running along through here, and then I'll get a 12-foot 2x4 and cut it in half for the 6th one, and do it between the 2 here, and then that'll go on top. And that's what and then these are, I'm gonna have, of course, 2x4s in the corner, 1 each, and then 3 on this side, 3 on that side, 16 inches apart. Same on the back. All of these are going to be 12-foot 2x4s cut in half. Same goes for the base here. Those are also 16 inches apart, running along underneath. And the plywood floor will lay down on top of that. The roof will come down on top of this. I'll be able to use, because OSB typically comes in 4x, and so does plywood, comes in 4x8 sheets. Then I'll just use a 4x8 sheet here and here, and that'll make it 8 foot long, 4 foot wide. That'll fit this perfectly, and it'll give me a nice triangular roof. And then it should take between 2 to 3 packs of, I'm going to use 3-tab shingles. I think it's going to wind up taking a little more than 2, but we'll see. And hopefully I might be able to get a better deal on some, be able to get some damaged ones or something to go on the top. And then that's all for the roof. So the roof's pretty simple. They're also, come to think of it, I haven't drawn it in yet. There's going to be 2x4s, running across here too. Though I don't need as many because it doesn't need to support very much weight. I might only use like 3, which is what I've got in my loft out there. Anyways, so and then the sheet of OSB will lay down on top of that, plus another strip. 2-foot strip, because it's 4 feet wide. Then I need another 2 foot wide strip to go across here, which will leave me with a 6-foot strip. And then that OSB may be what I use right here in the. Alright, so my video cut out, but I was doing some thinking. So here's here's how this is going to work. This is the 2x4 frame. I just explained that to y'all, and I think I got all that in before the video cut out. These are all, studs are all 16 inches apart. These two right here in the middle are going to be slid over to where they're 2 feet apart. Or I may even just kind of cut one of these out and move them. I don't know. I don't really have to have them full 16 inches. I mean, it's just a pigeon loft. It doesn't have to be, you know, to the same code that houses have to be. But I want it to be built nice and sturdy. Anyway, so I'm going to have a 2-foot door here. It's going to be at least 4, maybe it's probably going to be 5 foot tall. I don't need it to be real tall. I just have to fit through it. The taller it is, the easier it is for pigeons to get out of. Anyways, so if we're looking down on top of the, because I haven't drawn the wood parts yet, that's the frame. Of course, my 1 inch thick, 10 inch wide boards are going to go across the sides here, and they're going to overlap like this. Say this is the wall. Then the boards are going to be like this. Sorry, let me start doing here. That board there, picture they're going, you know, away from us. And the next one is going to overlap it just a little like that. The next one overlap a little like that. And you get the idea. And they go trailing off in the distance that way. So if we were looking at it from the side right here, yeah, that's how they overlap. So I think y'all pretty well got that. But then as for the door is not going to be made like that. I'm going to use a plywood bottom here and an OSB top on the inside here. Now I'm going to need this is 6 foot wide and 8 foot long. So let me just draw this right here. So picture we're looking down at the loft. So we're looking down. Picture this is the top right here, just underneath the triangular roof part, because this space is going to be separated so that I can ventilate it and better, and you know, get rid of all this heat that's going to build up here, have it separated from the pigeons in here. So that's that part where the OSB is going to be. We're going to use, you know, say a 4x8 sheet. This 4x8 sheet, but then that leaves this gap right here. We get another 4x8 sheet, cut off a 2 foot thick piece, or not thick, wide piece right here, goes there, and then that leaves us with a 8 foot long uh, 2 foot wide sheet of OSB. Well, then for the plywood base, we've got to do the same thing. So for the floor, picture this is underneath there, again 4x8 sheet of plywood. Well, then we have to, you know, cover. We can't have a hole, an 8 foot long hole in our floor, so we get another 4x8 sheet of plywood, but we cut off 2 foot wide strip, which goes right here, and that leaves us with another 2 foot wide, 8 foot long strip. Well, we cut that off, cut 3 feet off of that, and do the same thing to our OSB, and then that leaves us with a 5 foot wide, 5 foot long, 2 foot wide piece of OSB, and then the same for plywood. So that's going to be our door. Plywood's going to go on the outside. We're going to have our 2x4s right here, and then, you know, picture these are going all the way around it. Not around it, but you know, sandwiching. The 2x4s are sandwiched between the two pieces. The 2x4 frame, plywood goes on one side, OSB goes on the other. The OSB will be on the inside, the plywood on the outside, so the outside of the door is more weather resistant, and then the OSB on the inside will match the walls. And hopefully there will be some form of insulation inside the door as well, just like hopefully I'm going to be able to put insulation inside these walls. But I'm not positive of that. I'm not sure how much it's going to cost, and I don't want to spend a lot of extra money on that. I don't have a lot of extra money to spend. Don't have a lot of money to spend in general. If it weren't for the fact I'm going to be able to get a really good deal on these boards because of being able to get them through a friend, I wouldn't be using boards at all just because I can't afford that. But that's how our door is going to be made. The door is going to go right here. So that eliminates scrap from the top and the bottom here, and it gives me my door. Of course, I will have windows. I've been thinking, I've told you I'm going to put a fly pin on. I think I'm going to do that fly pin as just 6 by 6 by 6, so a cube, and that's going to attach probably on the right side here. I guess if you're facing it, it's the right. If you're standing in front of it facing away, it's the left. Anyway, so right here is going to be where that is. But sorry, it won't be 6 foot tall. It'll be 5 foot tall. 5 foot tall is the standard height for the rolls of chicken wire we'll go buy at Lowe's or Lexington Farm and Garden or Tractor Supply, wherever. So when I do that, it'll bring me another extra 6 feet. It'll, match the width of the loft. So match the width here. If the video cut out before I told y'all, I started drawing a side view of the loft and realized I drew it too high and wasn't going to draw the roof. So I just flipped the paper upside down and then did my drawing. So anyways, so if this side is that side right here, this is where the fly pin's going to go, but it's only going to come up to about, right here, and then I'm going to have a foot of space. Well, I'm still going to have plywood left over from when I do that for the door. It's only going to be 5 foot long. That leaves me with two 2-foot wide, 3 foot long pieces of plywood and OSB. I don't really like that wouldn't match, but what I could do is put those on top right here, or at least the plywood right here. Maybe just use the plywood piece so it doesn't have, but I don't know. Anyways, so that would bring a cover above 2 foot out over the fly pin, which would allow the birds to be, if I have perches there, to be outside, but still not get rained on, though most of the time they like the rain. But then I could put my trap right here and have them they can land on the roof, and they can also land on the landing board right here above the fly pin and trap in that way. That way I've got the birds getting used to coming and going, because they'll be coming and going from wherever I have a window that opens up here into the fly pin. They're coming and going in the same side of the loft if they're trapping in. I think that would be a convenient way to do it, and that would work out well. So, still brainstorming a little bit. That's basically what I'm thinking, and I'm going to do it all as cheap as I possibly can. So, the good news is, because I'm using boards and shingles, I'm not going to have to paint it. Eventually I probably will, but I don't have to worry about paint, which is great, because paint's really expensive, and enough paint to paint this thing would probably cost me around $60 for good paint. I don't want to spend $60 on paint, but I won't have to, thankfully. So now we'll head out there and water the birds. I don't think there's anything else I want to show y'all. I'm going to do box perches on the inside, but I haven't worked out exactly how I'm doing those yet. But again, I'm not liking how ruffled up these birds are. Alright, so now I'm headed out here to water these birds, and I thought about it while I was explaining to y'all about the paint. I got a 1 gallon jar, can. I used a 1 gallon can of paint to paint this thing, and that can of paint actually cost, I'm trying to think of it off the top of my head, I think that and I got it at a discount because I only wanted the medium grade, and the only way they could do this color was in the higher grade, so I got a discount on it and got it for like 30 something. But I want to say it was either $42 or $46 is what the paint cost. And y'all can see I still didn't get it, completely painted, especially back here where you can't see because this thing's in the way. There's little specks of OSB. I really even need to repaint this, because the water is going to continue to get in there, and right here that didn't get painted properly and it's pushed that out. So I mean, even that didn't cover this like I want it to. So considering that I would have to buy even more paint than what I used on this, I would probably be looking at spending $60 to $70 on paint. So on the one hand, if I were to go ahead and build this thing out of OSB or plywood, it would heat up easier like this one does. This one's like an oven, I hate it. And I would have to paint it, otherwise it would just start falling apart from the from weather, harsh weather. And so the boards that I'm going to use are probably going to cost me around $60. Boards are usually real expensive, and so that's why I've not ever used them before. But it's actually going to work out and I think save me some money this way, and it's not going to heat up so easily. And again, I'm going to do OSB on the inside, but I can, I don't know, I'm basically going to get the cheapest OSB I can. Hopefully I'll put insulation in the walls. I haven't looked to see how much insulation is going to be. I know insulation is not really an expensive thing, but you know, you add, you know, one more thing and one more thing and one more thing, and it just makes the project more and more expensive. But anyways, there are some ways that I spent a little extra money that I didn't need to when I built this. I didn't build it exactly like I should have. That's interesting. These screws weren't sticking out when I put this thing together and painted it. Wonder why they're sticking out some now. I guess I'll screw them back in. Anyways, yep, but there's not too much to show you as far as filling up these waters. After you mix in the teaspoon of water, the procedure is fairly straightforward. You just pour the water into the jug. I think y'all could all handle that. So there they go. And it's probably been an hour and two since I started doing my update. Y'all can see they've just about finished up that food. It looks like that got a little bit wet and kind of clumped together. They can still eat it though. Anyways, I'll go get them some more. I want them to have as much food as they can eat. You can see her crop looks a little bit bulged out. That's a good thing, I think. Hopefully that means she's been eating a bit. This should help with their appetite. I'm counting today as the first day because it was pretty late in the day that I gave them their medicated water yesterday, and it wasn't until today that I put it in the breeding loft. So I need to move Steve back down there, but at this point I'm not even worried about it. But so I'm counting today as the first day. I'm going to do this for 5 days. So, and I'm walking down to, caught my camera strap, I'm walking down to the woods where I've got a few more cockbirds. I haven't really shown them, so, and I'm medicating them too. I was saying something. Oh yeah, so today's the first day. So today is Saturday. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So Wednesday will make the 5th day. So on Thursday, if they're still showing signs of having it, I'll medicate them for 2 more days, which will make 7, and then stop for a few days. I don't remember exactly how long I wait. I'll check on that. And after that, I will, if they start showing signs again, I'll start medicating again for 5 more days. But hopefully after 5 days they'll be, you know, they won't be, you know, completely back to normal. It's going to take them a little bit of time to get back into good physical condition. But they shouldn't still be pooping green a bunch, and they should be eating better and not so ruffled up with their feathers. Anyways, so these guys down here, Steve would make 5, but Steve's up there, so I've only got 4 birds down here. This one roller I'm not breeding, I kind of want to check his weight, but I only have 1 hand. Yeah, he could do to have a little more. You can see there's a little bit of green on the edge of his tail. But yeah, I can see a little bit of green mixed into the poop here. Over there too. So they've got it. Of course, Elvis was up there and then came down here, so Elvis easily could have brought it to them. I can see a little bit of green poop stuck to the band on that pigeon right there, so they've got it too, but not nearly so bad. The only signs I'm really seeing as far as with them is just some green poop, and his weight is a little low, but not too bad yet. I'll give him more food. I need to feed him. Yeah, so Haven't noticed any problems with the chickens. Chickens can get it too, but from what I understand, it's not usually transmitted between different kinds of birds. They can all get it, but not from each other, is my understanding. But I don't know. Need to keep an eye on them, make sure they don't get it. But yep. Don't think there's much more to show you than that. I'm not exactly sure where my new loft is going to go, because originally it was going to go right here where that one is. That was going to be moved, and this was only supposed to be half of a loft, and then I was supposed to have the other half added on, which would make it 8 by 8 foot, 7 foot tall. But that's not in a good condition to be added on to. It's kind of twisted because I didn't build it properly. And then this is going to be a little bit larger, and it's going to be made out of boards on the outside. It's going to have a shingled roof, so it's not going to be able to be attached to this. And I don't want it sitting right here, because with this one, this short side is the front, which is kind of weird, because on the building usually you would have your front door be on the larger side. But the reason being is this was only supposed to be half. The other half was going to go right here. That's why this door, the hinges are on this side and the door opens that way. The other one was going to be opposite, open that way, so that I don't have to go around my door to get from one side to the other. I did at least think about that when I built it, but that's not going to matter now. My door is going to be on the front side, so you can picture it's going to be, instead of wide, I guess now that this is going to be the front on my new one, you would say that it's deep and not wide, because in this case you would say that it's 8 foot wide, and this one's 4 foot deep. But the one I'm building is going to be 6 foot deep, so it's going to come an extra 2 feet, somewhere about right here. Anyways, so my front door is going to be over here, and it is going to open in. So you can picture what I'm saying is that I would have my fly pin be attached to the side here. It's going to be lower than this. It's not going to be as far off the ground. I'm not sure exactly what's going to be. See, I would love to have it sitting on a brick foundation, but bricks are also very expensive, and like I said, don't have a lot of money to spend. I have plenty of other more important expenses. But I do need to get, I need to have a bigger loft, just because I've, to house the birds, but also to race out of. This is not a good design for racing out of. It's going to be fine for keeping some rollers in, but not for racing out of. And it's getting overcrowded. I'll show you on my Pigeon database. Here's my file where I keep all the Pigeon stuff, including all the videos, video clips, and pictures I use for my YouTube channel. But down here, this database. I finished all the birds in the young bird loft, plus a couple of others, but I haven't got it finished yet. So here's how this works. I've got one for the name here. Not all of them have names. Most of these young birds don't. There's Coco. There's Bentley there. Anyway, so then, because I want to be able to, I didn't put all their band information on one box, and I could have, but the reason I didn't do that is because I can search different information on here. And so I split it up into their band letters, which would be our club letters here, Tar Heel Racing Club, or down here, that's Mount Airy Club, Scholar, that was part of, those bands are part of a scholarship program anyways, and then year, so that I can sort these by ages, which they actually happen to be already, but they won't be much longer, but I can make it to where they stay that way. And then the band numbers, and I'll show you why I did that in a moment. Then I got breed. So far all I've done are homers, but I'm going to enter in my Birmingham rollers, satinets too. So gender, those are the only ones that I've got on here so far whose genders I know. All of these are the young birds from the loft, so I don't know. I can make some guesses, but I'm not going to. Color, even with like my black spreads. This is that black spread young bird. I just put it as blue in the pattern of spread so that I can keep all the colors together, because black is still the blue base color. In the pattern, I'd put spread and grizzle in the pattern one. Special features, anything that I want to record there. This one's kind of a heavy check. Those are real light grizzles. For the blue spread, I put black. This one down here, that's that indigo from the auction. I put it as a blue check because it is a blue check, and I put indigo as that special feature. Then over here, I have these so I can record more specific information, but I haven't done that for most of them, and I may not, but I can because I've got a calendar. As for their parents, all of these, I just put the band information down there, who they're from. So, a lot of these that I've got up here so far are from a friend named Scott, and then the ones I bred out, I just put me. Given, sold to, I haven't given away or sold any, except for one Birmingham roller, and it didn't have a band, so don't have that there. When they die, I can check them off, like so. But I'm going to uncheck those because they're all still living. If they don't return from a race and they're missing, I can check that. And then when they come home, I can uncheck it. If they never come home, I'll just leave it as that. I'm not going to switch it to dead because, to be honest, I don't know for sure. So I'm just going to leave it as missing. Who knows? 2 years later, I could have a bird return to me. It's possible. But anyway, so the reason I did bands and stuff like this is because I can do stuff on here. Do a query. Let's create. Let's do query design. And that. I'm not going to explain to you how I'm doing all this. It's more than is worth mentioning in a YouTube video. But let's see. So let's say I want to find all. I want to see all my ash red pigeons. So I can come over here and do color. Pull that one down to my field, and then for criteria. Hopefully y'all can see this. Got on criteria. I'm just going to type in ash red, and let's run that. And that didn't do exactly what I wanted it to because it's only showing. Oh, I know what I did wrong. So let's switch it back. I'm just going to. I want to know which ones they are. So let's also include band letters, band numbers, which is the date. Where's the year of one? I don't know why that's showing up all the way down here instead of where it is. Anyways, let's add that in, and then let's run it. So now it's gonna show us. So I know off the top of my head that this one right here, that's ash. If I go back, I can add in name too, and it's going to show me all these fields and the criteria. It's only going to show me ones that match that criteria. So I'm going to run it again and see it shows me ash and cocoa. Oh, sorry, I got those mixed up. Here's cocoa here and here's ash. These two scholars, those are probably my two grizzles. So let's see, numbers 81,835 and 81,840. So I'm going to look for 35 and 40. I'll come back to my table, look down here, here's 40, yep, that's that real light colored grizzle homer, and then 35 up here, that's that first grizzle homer I produced. So I can do that. I can save this if I want to, or I can edit it again. I can delete my criteria there, except that I hit the wrong button. Delete that. Let's say I wanted to see all my blue. I'm gonna put blue in for the criteria, and I never put in. Let's put in patterns. Let's say I only go to the criteria here. Let's say I only want to see bars. So I'm going to type in bar, run that. here are all my blue bars right here. Y'all get the idea. The reason I didn't split up the band letters is, let's go back here, and I don't know if y'all can hear, I can hear my rabbit going crazy in there. Anyways, let's see if I can get rid of, let's just start all over. Well, I'm going to leave those. I don't really need to see the pattern or color. Let's get rid of that. I'm not sure if it matters that now I don't have anything in the front. Anyways, so band letters. Let's say that I only want to see our club bands, so I'm going to put in, or let's say I only want to see ones from the Mountain Area Club. Type in the letters for their band, and it's only going to show me ones with those letters. It's still going to show me the number and the year and the name, which I only have 4. No, I have more than that, but I've only got 4 entered so far from the Mountain Area Club, and none of them have names, so it's not going to show anything. Anyways, let's run that. It's showing me these 3, which kind of surprised me because I got 4 from the Mountain Area auction. That means one of those wasn't wearing a Mountain Area band. Let's see. So this is, I can go back over to the table, match that up with these, that one, that one, that one. I'm not sure what WCOS stands for, but that is one of those from the Mountain Area auction. But then I can go back. I could do just the Scholar ones. That's weird. It's not showing anything. Did I misspell Scholar? Oh, there's an H in it. My bad. Now let's try it and see if those are actually there. Where'd my option to run that go? I don't know. I don't even know what I just did. I'm going to get rid of it. I'm not going to save it. I'm going to create a new query. Oh, alright, so I've already spent this over about 10 minutes showing y'all this. Anyways, let's say add that, get rid of that. So these are all my fields. These right here are the fields. So those are fields. Year born is a field, breed is a field, and then these are records. So that information go in that way as records. Anyways, so these are my fields listed up here. Let's put in band letters, band numbers. Let's put that right there, and then year born. That way it's the way it is on there. I don't know why it left a space there. Anyways, I'm not really concerned about it. And so let's see. Say I only want to see the Scholar. So that's, I don't know why it's not wanting to, I don't know. Where'd my option to run it go? Oh, here it is. I was just on the wrong tab. Anyways, run that. Here's all my Scholars. Anyways, so those are all the bands I've got Scholars on. And I can also do this. Let's switch back. I can do OR, and I can add on to that other criteria, TRC. So this should show me all, because the Scholar bands are also TRC bands. So this should show me all the ones banded with our club bands. Run that. So here's all our Scholars, TRCs too. Right now it's it's not doing it by alphabetical order over here. So I guess it's sorting. I never told it to sort by the numbers or the dates here, but maybe it did. Oh, it wasn't before. Now it is. Maybe it was sorting by these. Anyways, now I've got it sorting youngest to oldest. So, I'm not really sure how it decided to switch those. Anyways, maybe that all seemed kind of complicated. And I can save this query if I want to. When I close, it'll give me the option to save it. I can call it, let's call it all TRC bands. And I can save that. And I think it'll update too. Let's say that I'm not sure. I'm going to add a TRC right here. This is just something random. I'll do it for 2011 so I make sure I don't get it mixed up with the real ones. And let's just give it a random number. Yep, that's doing. How about that? 3686. We'll do that. That's all I need. Let's say that. I wonder if that'll show up on here now. I wonder if it will. I'm not seeing it. I don't think it updated it. But I might can do this and then run it again. That time it did. I don't know if it updated before or not. Anyways, go back to my table and delete that, because of course that's not really a pigeon. But also this I'm going to delete because I don't need that. Okay, that should have gone away. There it went. Okay, got rid of it because I don't need it. There. Hopefully that makes sense. It might seem a little bit complicated. Also, it'll come in real handy in that I can see. I could search all the ones that I got from Scott, or all the ones I got from Rick. Just makes stuff pretty easy. So it just takes a little bit of time to put all the information in there. I still have to finish. Still got to do the bands I took down from the breeding loft, which is a bigger loft, but I actually have less banded homers in there, so it won't take nearly as long. This will kind of be stuck in the middle of my video because I already made the end slide while I was outside, or in video, and this will be kind of wedged between them, but hope y'all like that, if that makes sense. This is Microsoft Access that I'm using. I think that Google has a database app, but I'm not sure of that either. So there you go. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I hope that made sense, both the part about medicating them as well as the parts about how I'm trying to build my new loft. I kind of tried to use this thing, my breeding loft, to kind of show you, but it's not the same size and it's going to have a different roof, and so. But anyways, hopefully that made sense. But thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos, more uploads. We get closer to racing. I'm looking very forward to having all the young birds moved over and to start training and not have to worry about breeding anymore. It's and getting young birds moved over. It's getting pretty old. But thanks for watching, guys. Take care.